Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Come on, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
There we go. Well, welcome to the city of Port St. Lucie, the 8th most populous city and the 3rd most populous state, the safest large city in Florida, and a city at the vanguard of water quality. All right, today we are very honored that you're with us, and I'd like to welcome a number of special guests. And this is one of the, just so we have Forest Grove over there. Say hi to Forest Grove. That's 8th grade, and I don't know if any of you have nightmares about public speaking, but what you'll find out if you ever get to do this is one of the things most fraught with peril is forgetting one of your guests. So if you have a good staff, they make a list for you, and they even put photos in it, all right? All right, so start with the easy things first. We'd like to welcome State Representative Gail Harrell. The one, the only Representative Larry Lee. And should I go then, I'll go elected. We have County Chairwoman Franny Hutchinson. County Commissioner, former Vice Mayor, former City Councilwoman Linda Bartz. We have indubitable, the incomparable, Catherine Hensley of the St. Lucie Public Schools. You can see the look of anticipation on her face. Oh, she's going to call me next? All right, here, other elected officials. Hold on, where is she wearing pink today? Commissioner Kathy Townsend. Oh, I know that we have a property appraiser in the house, don't we? Let's see on this list here. Michelle, will you please stand up? I don't know, I might have to alphabetize this thing. So we got Michelle Franklin. Are there any other elected officials in the room? I know that we have Commissioner Zadowski. Is he here? Commissioner Chris Zadowski. I knew he was here. We talked about the Steelers winning from behind. All right, we have, of course, the Vice Mayor, Shannon Martin, Councilwoman Caraballo, Councilwoman Stephanie Morgan, and that's a good segue into the appointed officials. Our very own City Manager, Russ Get It Done Blackburn. All right, we have another Seeberger. Do we have Chloe Seeberger of Martin County? There we go, Legislative Coordinator. Deborah Drum, Martin County Ecosystem, Restoration and Management. Oh, a guy that's really making special things happen, working in concert with his board, Wayne Gent, Superintendent of St. Lucie County Schools. And Wayne, thank you so much for bringing out the 8th grade and doing everything that you're doing. All right, let's see. We don't want to miss anybody. Big trouble. Mark Satterley, Deputy Administrator. And you know I'd be in big trouble if I didn't recognize his boss, Howard Plan into Action Tipton. That's Pinto A if you follow county matters. All right, and we'll end perhaps on a high note. We got 2 more. Pete Tesh, St. Lucie EDC. We're very honored to have our South Florida Water Management District Board with us, Brandon Tucker. We have Derek Hankerson, Office of Congressman Mast. Greg Lankowski, Office of Senator Rubio. We have Jesus Morejo. Jennifer Smith. She's with the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. All right, I think we've recognized the room. You're all here. We're glad to have you. We'd like to go ahead and ask the Port St. Lucie Police Department Honor Guard to post the colors.
That's good. On. Our time. Arm. Honor guard. Halt. Hope. Colors. Ready? Post. Reason. Arms. Order. Arms. Center. Face. Honor guard. Recover. Half step. Hard. Well. Hard time. Hard.
And as is fitting for this ceremony, we're going to ask members of the 8th grade class of Forest Grove Middle School to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. We're going to ask Whitney Boville and Matthew Hetty to come forward. Good morning.
Good morning.
Please lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, and now we will have an invocation from Pastor Travis O'Neill of Christ Fellowship Church.
If you would bow with me. Dear God, thank you so much for this beautiful day. Lord, the Bible tells us that good things come from you, Lord, and you have been good to us. You've been good to our city, and we are thankful for that. Father, we pray for protection over the workers and over anyone who is involved in this project. Lord, we pray for your favor. And God, we pray that this will better the life of our citizens and our residents. And dear God, we thank you for this beautiful city that you've given us to reside in and to be a part of and to be a part of this community. So, Father, we thank you today. In Jesus' name, amen.
All right, you please be seated. Today is about water. It's about taking action on a better future. It's about now and the next generation. And when we think about water, we know that life on earth can't exist without it. We need it to live. And even though we live on a blue planet that has more water than land, it's estimated that less than 1% of that water is fresh and readily usable by humans. And simply put, it's one of the world's most precious resources. In Florida, we understand the value of water and know that it's not just essential to life, it's essential to our way of life. We're blessed by an abundance of water resources. We got salt water, brackish and fresh. We have the Atlantic Ocean, the Gulf of Mexico, the rivers like the Kissimmee, lakes like Okeechobee, underground springs. like Weeki Wachee, Silver, Rainbow, the Everglades, and our local estuarine treasures, the St. Lucie River and Indian River Lagoon. Our waters power our economy and our quality of life. Yet despite understanding water's importance to life on Earth and our way of life, right now, I mean right this very second, tragically, we as a state are throwing away so much fresh water. We're throwing it away. It's just spewing. It's gushing. We're throwing away so much of that where we're swamping globally significant ecosystems and starving others, like the Everglades, like Florida Bay. Here on the Treasure Coast, we throw so much fresh water away via the C-44, the C-23, and the C-24 that we are actually ruining the St. Lucie River and Indian River Lagoon. We are making state-issued public health advisories and algae blooms the rule rather than the exception. We're destroying what makes our region special, our quality of life, and one of the pillars of our economy. How can we ask our residents to continue to tolerate this? We can't. And the solution's pretty straightforward. We know what we have to do. We have to store, treat, and disperse more stormwater, a lot of it. So in addition to the continued pursuit of monumental, multi-year, multifaceted, multi-billion-dollar efforts like the Comprehensive Everglades Restoration Plan and the Great Lake O debate, it's imperative that we seize regional and local water management opportunities as they present themselves. As you are aware, or as I hope you are aware, the people of Port St. Lucie have repeatedly stepped up to the plate on water issues, whether it was creating a state-of-the-art water and wastewater utility, carrying out one of the largest septic tank conversion programs in the country, or completing the $36 million Eastern Watershed Improvement Project. And our people are ready to do it again now. Next up, we have our Director of Utility Systems and Special Projects, a real champion behind this project, Jesus Morejo. Before we go to the video and then Jesus, I just want to make you aware of a couple of things. Did anyone notice those orange balloons out there? There's one on the way in. You can't, it's so far away you can't even see it from here. We can see another couple. Those are the points. Those are the points of the project. Those are the corners. That's how big this project is. It's so big that you can't see one of the corners from here. That's how much water we can store on this one project. Understand that that's just getting started. This project could take up to 21% of the excess fresh water from one of our tributaries to the river. One of them. 21%, a fifth. This huge project is the beginning, not the end. And we're so grateful to have our 8th grade class here who are in the finals for the Samsung Solve for Tomorrow Challenge. And they're looking at things like robotics that scrape up muck and mechanical means to filter water. And we want you to solve the problems. We're glad that you're here. We want you to understand that this Comprehensive Everglades Restoration Plan is a 35-year project. Can you imagine that? From the time you're born, you're 35, you graduated, you have your doctorate, you're married, kids, you're working. That's how long some of these things take. Is that good enough? Do we want something more? We want you to be smart enough to solve the problems that already exist, but we want you to be even smarter. We want you to avoid the problems in the first place. So with that, we're going to go to the video.
My river. Whose river is this? It's my river. It's our river. It's everyone's river.
The public is keenly aware of the need for clean water. It's essential for well-being here on the Treasure Coast. And projects like McCarty Ranch Extension is going to be beneficial not only for the city of Port St. Lucie, but for the entire St. Lucie County community.
The Water Quality Restoration Storage Project in western Port St. Lucie will capture rainfall from the property and pull excess fresh water from the parallel C-23 canal during the wet season. As much as 21% of nutrient-rich water will be kept from entering the river from the C-23 canal annually and held in one of 6 shallow areas on the 1,900 acres of fallow citrus grove.
There are 2 problem nutrients. There's nitrogen and phosphorus that, when it's not properly managed, leads to problems with algae blooms.
As the water percolates naturally in each area, nearly 90,000 pounds of nitrogen and 18,000 pounds of phosphorus will be removed annually and kept from the water entering the North Fork of the St. Lucie River and eventually the Indian River Lagoon.
So when we have these harmful algal blooms, not only does it harm the things living in the water, but health officials also recommend that people stay out of the water.
Carefree Boat Club Dockmaster Byron Hendershot has heard the concerns from his members.
It's a general consensus among mass amounts of people that it's gotten to be enough already and something needs to be done. Lots of people are ready to come down and relax and look at beautiful water, you know, and they want a comfortable place and, you know, a comfortable scenery that they can float up to a lot of times and relax and do that and not have to see some things that are being seen.
Florida native Donald Stiller recalls a healthier river as he soaks up the North Fork at the monthly River Nights event.
We grew up eating the fish out of the St. Lucie River and the Indian River, and all of our food came right out of the river. And we never saw a fish with a legion or a scab or a scale, and now lots of times you see unhealthy fish, skinny fish.
Each area of the Water Quality Project is able to operate independently, and as each phase is complete, the benefits will increase. The project will not be open to the public. However, this community is open to the reality of healthier waterways.
We want it pristine. We want the water to be pretty. We want it to be swimmable. We want to be able to, you know, wash our face in the river and or jump overboard in the river.
Construction of Area 1 begins in January 2018. And thanks to the support of South Florida Water Management District, Florida Department of Environmental Protection, and the state legislature, Areas 1 and 2 are funded.
There's a great deal of foresight going into a project like McCarty Ranch Extension, and I feel very fortunate to live in a community that has such a wonderful benefit like this.
I need the river. So do we. We all need the river. This river is mine. Whose river is it? It's everyone's river.
Jesus.
Good morning, everyone. The City of Port St. Lucie Assistance Department is proud of this project and the septic to sewer conversion it has accomplished to date. Since the city embarked on a sewer expansion program 23 years ago, Port St. Lucie expanded its city limits from 80 square miles to 120 square miles, growing population to 180,000 residents. Sewers customers have grown from 10,000 to 51,000. Because of the new construction requirements, more than 21,000 septic tanks have never been installed, and more than 7,000 septic tanks have been taken out of service. To date, new grinder pump installation have diverted nearly 20 billion gallons of wastewater to treatment facilities. Whereas without the new low pressure system, the wastewater would have gone to septic tanks with possibility of contaminating our groundwater. Many cities across the nations inquire about our system. Many officials, utilities directors, and also employees have visited our utilities. Times to discuss the low pressure wastewater disposal system and the ways in which it was implemented and how it's being maintained. Utility systems continue to convert remaining residential septic systems upon their failures of the homeowner's desires to connect to a sewer system. And that this innovative program has been expanded since 1994, the area water resources are even more protected, minimizing potential for contamination from septic systems. Residents, visitors, city staff, city council, state representatives, elected officials are very passionate about the health and well-being of this community and the beautiful North Fork of the St. Lucie River. This support and every effort to keep septic tanks leakage from seeping into the aquifer, well groundwater, which leads to the river. Today, we celebrate our groundbreaking of Area 1, and we're so grateful to our funding partners in support. We're continuing seeking funding for the remaining areas of outline as you drove in today. We welcome and appreciate your ongoing partnership as we work to complete this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesus, and thank you for being a champion for this project. Now, I love it that you're here, and all of you are here, but especially the kids, because really I feel like so much of our job is for them. And I hope that what you're going to find is that nothing good comes easy. Hard work is the key to everything, but even better than working hard is working hard and working smart. And then another thing that you'll learn in life, I think, is that we don't do anything by ourselves. That anything good is really a product of coming together as a team, as a community, as a family to make things happen. And so many of our speakers that are going to be coming up now really represent our team members in the state of Florida. You know, your legislature has 2 houses, a Senate and a House. And Senate President Negron couldn't be here, and he's been a champion on the Senate side. But our very own Representative Gail Harrell, whose nickname is Gale Force because she's so strong and works so hard, she has been the champion of this project on the House side, and she was the sponsor of some of the funding bills. Please welcome Honorable Gail Harrell.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Mayor. It's a delight to be here on this gorgeous day, and it's actually going to warm up a little bit today, so we're even more excited about that. But I'm delighted to have all these young faces here. Welcome. It's just wonderful to hear that you're so involved in environmental issues. And this project is really a community effort. And it is about partnerships. It's about working together to solve problems. And that is really what Port St. Lucie does so well. And I just want to commend the city for really having the vision to be part of this. We started really with the major problems we have in our water, and the mayor talked about water and how important it is to us as people, but also it's part of our environment here. It defines us as the Treasure Coast, our rivers, our beaches. This is who we are. It's our environment. It's also our economy. And this project is so much a part of that vision that we have for the Treasure Coast. We started with this project. This is a phase of it. We have the funding in place, and also I have the project for the next funding. We're hoping that comes through. So that's going to take some effort on everyone's part. But when you look at the importance of this, the entire project is going to take 21% of the water that would have been diverted into the C-23 that would come into the North Fork of the St. Lucie and then would come down all the way to Stewart into the Indian River Lagoon and really have a tremendous negative impact on our environment. We all lived through those algae blooms. Nobody wants to do that again. And we do not want to have this continuing problem. I sponsored Legacy Florida several years ago. That was a step in the right direction. I have Legacy 2.0, another step in the right direction. This is part of the march. This is a significant part of the march that we are on in order to improve our economy and our environment at the same time. This is about the future for you. 30 years from now, it's going to provide drinking water for the growing city of Port St. Lucie. So it's all part of this vision we have as a community working together as the Treasure Coast. And it takes partnerships. It is the city of Port St. Lucie, It is the state legislature, it is DEP, it's South Florida Water Management. It's everybody working together. So I want to thank each one of you for being part of that partnership. I want to say thank you to everyone who is participating here, and especially to the kids for being here. This is your future. Thank you.
So the vice mayor hates it when I use sports analogies, but hopefully some of you can relate to, you need a good quarterback, and Representative Gail Harrell has been that on the House side, being the sponsor of the bill and making sure that we have state investment in this project that really has a state impact. But it takes the whole team, and we've been very, very fortunate to have our entire legislative delegation behind this, and that includes the Honorable Larry Lee.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you all for being here. And as I sat there, just looking at the audience, I looked at these young people, and you are our future. And water, no life will exist on Earth without water. And when you see space explorations, one of the first things they do when they look to explore another planet, they look to see whether there's water there. So that's how important this project is. And appreciate you, we appreciate you at such an early age taking an interest in water quality, the environment, and nature. When I was your age, the only water I thought about was going to the beach, you know, and I knew not anything about the health of that beach. But you at such an early age, you understand the importance of water, and we appreciate you and all that you're about to do. And want to thank all of you for being here. As Representative Harrell said, and the mayor, it takes a team to make anything happen, and I want to commend Representative Harrell for taking the lead in the House, and not one individual in the House not support what she was proposing. Because we in the House of Representatives, as well as the Senate and all branches of government, understands without water, we would not exist. So thank you for being here. And just when you leave, as the mayor said, look at those balloons. It tells you how big this project is going to be. Yesterday, I guess I was so excited about this day, seeing this project come to fruition. I came a day early. I got up and I was rushing out here, and I went to the first entrance there, and they had some signs up yesterday too saying ceremony, so I knew I was going in the right direction. And I took that turn and I drove way back in there, and I didn't see anyone. I kept driving. I probably ended up way over there where those power lines are over there. And I finally saw a police officer, and I said, "Sir, where's the ceremony being held?" He said, "That's tomorrow." So, but just coming here today is just, and God just gave us such a beautiful, shiny day for this occasion. But thank you again for being here, and let's continue to work together. It's amazing what can happen when we all pull in the same direction. And I want to leave you with a little joke. There was this guy, he was driving down a little country road, similar to that road out there, and he was just admiring the beautiful countryside and not paying attention, drove off into a ditch. And he tried to get his truck out, and he just could not move that truck. So he got out and he saw this farmhouse down the road. So he walked down there and knocked on the door. And the farmer came to the door and he said, "Sir, I got a problem. I ran my truck in the ditch, and I want to know if you got a tractor or anything to help pull me out." He said, "I don't have a tractor, but my mule can pull it out." So he said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." So he went out there and he saw the mule, and this old mule's old, and in his head he said, "That mule can't pull that truck out." But anyway, he had no other option. So he and the farmer walked the mule back down to the truck, and he hitched the rope to the truck, and he yelled out, "Pull, Paul, pull, Sam, pull, Dave," and the mule pulled the truck out. The man was amazed. He said, "That is an amazing mule." He said, "Can you tell me I see that I'm out, but why did you call all those names? He said, you see, old Sam is blind. And he didn't know there were some other mules not with him. So he gave it all that he had because he wanted to help the other names that I was calling. The moral of that story is, if we don't worry about whether someone else is pulling with us, we can do amazing things. Just do our part. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Lee. That's deep and worthy of further reflection. Next up, we're going to be joined digitally by U.S. Senator Bill Nelson, and Representative Lee provided the perfect segue with talking about space. So there's a guy that's been there.
I wish I could be with you today because this project is an example of the type of innovation and an all-hands-on-deck approach to what we need for restoration of our natural ecosystem. West of Fort Pierce and all the way down to Lake Okeechobee, it's a unique treasure, home to dozens of endangered and threatened species, also a lot of wildlife. We are committed to ensuring future generations are able to enjoy this treasured ecosystem. And it's projects like this that can play a critical role in helping us to ultimately restore back to what Mother Nature intended and clean up the water along the way. So thank you for helping protect Florida's unique ecosystem. Have a great day.
All right, so legislatures at any level, whether it be a city council, a county commission, a state house, a state senate, a federal house, a federal senate, we get to adopt laws and policies, and then it's up to our staffs, our respective staffs, and the executive branch of government to implement it. And with those thoughts in mind, I'd like to go ahead and invite up Jennifer Smith, the Southeast Director of the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. Good morning, ma'am.
Thank you very much. I'm thrilled to be here today and to be part of such a wonderful event. We'd like to thank the City of Port St. Lucie for organizing this event and inviting DEP to be a part of it. Improving the quality of our natural resources through long-term planning, restoration, and maintenance is one of the department's strategic goals. We want to focus taxpayer resources on projects that provide a direct benefit to the environment and local communities. And we want to partner with communities and businesses to protect natural resources and promote economic growth. That's just one of the reasons that DEP gave $1.5 million through legislative appropriations and EPA's Section 319 water quality restoration grants for the McCarty Ranch Extension water quality restoration projects. The funding will help construct two 200-plus acre reservoirs that will improve the water quality of the North Fork of the St. Lucie River by reducing the amount of pollutants occurring in the C-23 canal. It's anticipated that the implementation of this project will lead to a reduction of pollutants that originate in the canal from runoff from agricultural and urban areas. Through collaboration, we are better able to achieve restoration. Overall, the water quality restoration storage project located here at McCarty Ranch will keep nearly 9 billion gallons of water from entering the North Fork of the St. Lucie River. This will result in a 21% reduction in excess freshwater discharge from the C-23 canal into the river. DEP is proud to be a part of the project that will significantly benefit the City of Port St. Lucie and its residents. Thank you again for inviting DEP to be a part of this event, and we look forward to working together in the future.
So in addition to elected legislative bodies and administrators and executive staff, we also have appointed officials who serve on legislative bodies. And one of those is the South Florida Water Management District Governing Board, and we're very honored to have our partner, Brandon Tucker, here today.
Well, good morning, everyone. On behalf of the 9 governing board members of the South Florida Water Management District and our Executive Director, Ernie Marks, it is certainly a pleasure, Mr. Mayor, to be here with you this morning. As a third-generation resident of the Treasure Coast, spending my childhood in Okeechobee County and living the last 21 years in Martin County, I certainly know the history and understand where we need to go when it comes to restoration of our estuaries and our lagoon. It's great to see all you young people here today. Truly, you guys are the stars of the show here today. To know where we're going, we have to know where we've been. And so for you to understand the history of what's happened with Everglades restoration, to know where we need to go is critically important. Because unfortunately, how long it takes to get many of these projects done, you're going to have to toe the line in the future to get these done. Those of us sitting up here are going to do our part, but you're going to have to do your part as well. So anytime any of you want to come to 3301 Gun Club Road in West Palm Beach to our headquarters at the South Florida Water Management District and see what we do, you're always welcome to come, and we'd love to have you there to have a tour. The McCarty Ranch Extension Water Quality Project will help to divert local basin stormwater runoff from the C-23 canal to reduce nutrient loading and freshwater discharges into the St. Lucie River and Indian River Lagoon, and every gallon stored certainly helps. While the City of Port St. Lucie will manage this project, as your South Florida Water Management District Governing Board members, we are happy to help fund it with a $200,000 grant from our cooperative funding program. This program has provided millions of dollars in grant money to stormwater management projects like this one throughout South Florida. We fund this project because it is a prudent and very efficient investment in taxpayer dollars to help improve conditions within the C-23 basin. We are also supporting other projects as we work with governments and landowners to help improve water quality in Port St. Lucie and St. Lucie County. We awarded a $125,000 grant through the same cooperative funding program to the Veterans Memorial Stormwater Quality Retrofit. This will help the city build water quality improvement features in Port St. Lucie to better control water around the area of Veterans Park, where there are currently uncontrolled stormwater discharges into the North Fork of the St. Lucie River. Since the year 2000, the City of Port St. Lucie has received over $2.6 million from the legislature through the St. Lucie River Issues Team. This money funded 10 projects in the St. Lucie River Basin. 2 projects of note include the Howards Creek Stormwater Quality Retrofit and the E8 Waterway Retrofit. Also here in St. Lucie County and neighboring Okeechobee and Indian River counties, we are working with landowners and farmers to plan 2 large water storage projects that will significantly benefit the basins in St. Lucie County and the Indian River Lagoon by storing local basin stormwater. These projects are the Bluefield Grove Water Farm in St. Lucie County, the Scott Water Farm in Okeechobee and Indian River counties. The district also continues to operate one of its original 3 pilot projects here in St. Lucie County at the Evans Ideal 1000 property, where over 12,700 acre-feet of water has been kept from entering the St. Lucie estuary since 2015 on approximately 1,000 acres of land. Finally, a few years ago, we took the helm from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers to step in and fix the 10 Mile Creek water quality and storage project west of Fort Pierce, built originally by the Army Corps. The district spent approximately $6 million retrofitting 10 Mile Creek to dramatically increase the amount of local water, stormwater runoff and increase the amount of water that it could store. The 526-acre reservoir was completed last summer and can now hold up to 2,500 acre-feet of local stormwater, again reducing the flow of nutrients and fresh water to the St. Lucie River and Indian River Lagoon. A stormwater treatment area associated with the reservoir is also treating that water to remove excess nutrients before it reaches the lagoon. We're involved in funding and building these projects because we care deeply about improving the water quality of St. Lucie County and the entire Treasure Coast. We will continue to work to improve water quality and provide flood control now and into the future. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, once again for having us, and we enjoy and appreciate the partnership we have with the City of Port St. Lucie. God bless.
Thank you, and thank you again to all of our partners. It's definitely a day of celebration and gratitude. I, of course, am up here on behalf of our city council. We're all peers and elected together. And then we entrust our city manager as our chief administrative official to make things happen. And Mr. Blackburn, who we've nicknamed Get It Done, because we just want stuff to get done in Port St. Lucie. Please join us.
Well, good morning. This is a great day for Port St. Lucie. It's also a great day for the North Fork of the St. Lucie River, for all of our estuary. It's really very important for all of us. So it's a fact that I don't remember hearing yet, but it's really makes you kind of take a step back. This project, when it's complete, will intercept, treat for 9 billion gallons of water coming out of the C23 basin on an annual basis. So if you think about that impact, it doesn't happen by itself. It happens with everybody in here pulling together and deciding it's a priority to make a difference for the health of our rivers and for our estuary. And so it's my pleasure to thank just a few of the people, because truthfully, I think everybody I see in here has a role in this project. So we certainly begin with the city council, the mayor, who provide the leadership, the vision that this is a project worthy of the city spending its resources and its time and effort. And as you've heard, it's a long-term project and will require a long-term commitment. Our representatives, Representative Harrell, thank you very much. Senator Negron couldn't be here today, but he really was instrumental in helping with the funding. Representative Lee, thank you very much. So you've met some of our funding partners, the South Florida Water Management District, the governing board and their staff, the U.S. EPA, Governor Rick Scott, and the Florida Department of Environmental Protection. So the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers had to permit the project, and they moved it through very rapidly, and we thank the Corps and their staff members. So our St. Lucie County Board of County Commissioners, Howard Tipton, County Administrator, and the staff from the county, we thank you very much. It is, without you, we couldn't do it. And our contractors, Captech, Joe Capra. Joe, where are you? There. Arteman and Associates, if you raise your hand. Yep. Envirotech Systems Incorporated. And Culpeper Interpreting. So as a city, we have great staff, but we rely on the additional resources of these professionals that really help us to achieve something that we couldn't do by ourselves.
All right. Again, on behalf of the City of Port St. Lucie, our City Council, we just want to thank you for being here on what is a very special day. As I mentioned before, you can have a list. You could check it twice, and you can still miss some. And I wanted to make sure that we recognize Kelly Wilson of Senate President Negron's office. I also want to thank people like Jack Jennings for being here. Jack is a citizen who lives in Ballantrae on the North Fork of the St. Lucie River. He's a member of the fishing club, and we have to remember that, it's people like Jack who live with the river every day, and this makes a difference for all of us. All right, now we talked about the balloons and how big of an area it is. Do we have all the facts? Gale Force, do we get them all out there? 21% reduction in the excess freshwater discharge. Did we talk about removing 90,000 pounds of nitrogen per year? 90,000 pounds, think about how much that is, or 18,000 pounds of phosphorus. This project makes a difference. And I also want to thank our University of Florida for being here. Thank you, University of Florida, for being part of this project, of this presentation, and for authoring the freshwater discharge report a couple of years ago, which is a great read. Now, Representative Harrell was here talking about the importance of water at the state level, and Representative Lee gave us a parable. Had a moral to the story. And do you kids know who JFK is? You do? Who is he? He was a former president. Do you know his famous quote? Ask not. Do you know that one? You don't? Oh yeah, you know it. Yeah. That's basically it. And that, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. And that was really the moral to Representative Lee's story. It's very similar about what you can do for others. And what I'd ask us is to replace, to go back to something good with JFK, but just to even broaden it. Don't think about country. Think about just what you can do for others. And do we want to sit here and watch our estuaries and our way of life be ruined because it's another person's problem, it's another person's fault? They did it, they should fix it. Or should we decide as residents, as neighbors, as family, that we can do something about it, that we will do something about it, and that we are doing something about it? That is what this project is about. That's what the future is about. The future starts today. We have to seize it. And just want to thank you all for being part of it. Want to thank the state legislature, the state administration, the governor's office, South Florida Water Management District, DEP, EPA, ACOE, and of course, our city council staff. Thank you, Jenny Tomes. Thank you, communications, Kate Blonde Snow White Parmalee, Christina Seeberger, all of our staff who made this special event happen. Brad Masick, who brings the excitement to every city council meeting. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And in just a moment, we're going to close out, and I'm sorry I'm doing inside jokes, but we will break ground. We will take photos. We'll spend this morning together, and we'll greet our future. Anything else, council? Got it. Thank you. Thank you, guests, for being here. If we could please, and we have to be formal here, if we could retrieve the colors.
Retrieve colors. Present arms. Order arms. Retrieve colors. Center face. Honor guard. Recover. Head step. Hard. Well. 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 Right. Well. Well.
All right, everybody. As you've seen, we have cells 1 and 2 funded. 3 is in the hopper, thanks to our hard work and delegation and our champion, Representative Harrell. That means we need 4, 5, and 6. We need your help in getting 4, 5, and 6 done. And then the celebration part is over, and we're already talking about what comes next. After 4, 5, and 6, why can't we work together to connect the C-23 to the C-24 and to parallel our comprehensive Everglades restoration plan? And why can't we do that much sooner than 35 years? With that, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the McCarty Ranch groundbreaking. Hey, Port St. Lucie, it's your mayor, Greg Orvek, out here on a beautiful bluebird day at McCarty Ranch Water Quality Project, groundbreaking. We had a lot of special guests today, but none were more special than the 8th grade class of Forest Grove Middle School. Hey everybody. Hi. And I'm just gonna take a wild guess. You're Bulldogs? Yes. All right, and they're here because they want to save their river, their St. Lucie River, their Indian River Lagoon, and not only are they special guests, there's something really special. There's several things really special about Forest Grove. One, they're a MOA school. Class, what does MOA mean? Marine Oceanographic Academy. So does that mean you care about water? Yes. Yes, they do. This is our next generation, and they're here today. Not only are they a marine school where they care about the water, they care about our rivers, they care about our ecosystems in the ocean, they are a finalist for the prestigious Samsung Solve for Tomorrow. So with our next generation here, and who has the old slogan of the next generation, McCarty Ranch Water Quality Project is really about saving our today and our future. You know, a lot of us are familiar with the Comprehensive Everglades Restoration Plan. We call it CERP for short. One of the largest ecosystem restoration plans ever adopted by Congress. It's tens of billions of dollars. It takes 35 years. To put 35 years in context, most of these kids, let's see here, what grade were you in? How old were you in the year 2000?
I'm -5.
Exactly. Exactly. -4 is how old they were. That's when the plan was approved. Is it done yet? No. No, it's not done yet. We don't want them to be grandparents by the time that that project is done. So rather than waiting for other people to solve the problems, we can come together as a community, as a region, as a city, as a family to make the difference today. And we're so proud to have you, class. Could you let everyone know how much you enjoy being here? A lot. Oh, I gotta hear some bulldog, you know, barks or something. That's your next generation right there, Port St. Lucie. Be proud.